What's good? What's good? What's good? And what's good? What's good, people? What's going on? How is everybody doing? How everybody doing out there? I guess you all are having a great week. You remember my previous video? I think it was a Bitcoin video. I'm gonna drop a link in the description so y'all can check it out. I did lay out that like I did some BS on Tuesday. I was over trading so hard and I took a few losses, but I came back on Thursday with the perfect rebound and we made profit yesterday. I'm gonna post a screenshot. I'm gonna have a screenshot somewhere right there. I don't know my left and on my right. But people, on today's video, I just want to share an educational video. I want to break down something real quick. So like people, before I start off, anything can happen. People might come in because we're having a few renovations inside the crib. Before me, anything can happen. Someone can come and stop me, or they might not. But with my positivity and my optimism, I just pray and I hope that like nobody come and disturb me. So there's gonna be an educational video. I want to break down a few persons which I found that like they are important in my trading journey. I've traded with them for over 5, 6 years since I started trading, and they still work out for me perfectly fine even today. You feel me? So without further ado, people, without further ado, let's just hop in and let's see what we can find and what are we looking for. So, what are forex trading patterns? Forex trading patterns, people, are either a continuation pattern or a reversal pattern. Let me repeat. We have a continuation pattern and we have a reversal pattern. What are continuation patterns? If you are in an uptrend and we get a pattern confirming that price will continue moving to the upside, we consider that a continuation pattern. That's a signal. That pattern that you found, it's a signal. If price is bearish and we're having a bear pattern, let's just know that like price will do what, eventually continue moving to the downside with a bearish continuation pattern. What are reversal patterns? Our reversal patterns are patterns which we use mainly if price is in an uptrend and we're having some sort of depletion and we're having some sort of bear momentum, and we have that pattern or that signal that we find confirming that our price is in a reversal. We take reversal trades moving to the downside. Same thing to the upside. Same thing to the downside. If price was clearly moving to the downside with a bear structure and price gives us some sort of bear depletion and bullish momentum, and we get that reversal pattern confirming price will be reversing to the downside. Let's just take those patterns as reversal patterns of price moving to the upside. You feel me, people? We have continuation and we have a reversal pattern. So within reversal patterns and within continuation patterns, that within a reversal pattern and within continuation patterns, there are patterns which I mainly use. I don't use every pattern out there. I don't trade every pattern out there. We're having millions and millions and millions and tons of trading patterns or reversal patterns, right? But what's important is that the ones that you find working out for you are the ones you should stick with. You feel me, people? So now on my side, I have what? I have a let me just do this. I have a continuation pattern. And then on my left, I have a word reversal pattern. So now, let me do this real quick. So my reversal patterns, my continuation patterns, I have a what? A bullish and bearish flag, right? And then I have my what? And then I have my what other patterns do I use mostly? And then I have my double top. No, but double tops and double bottoms are reversal patterns. So in continuation patterns, I mainly use bullish and bearish. I think I use mainly bullish and bearish flags. So coming to my reversal patterns, I have a word, an inverted head and shoulder. right? We have an inverted head and shoulders, right? That's my first. We have an inverted head and shoulders and a head and shoulders, right? So this is the same thing. It's two patterns, but it's the same thing. It's an inverted and a what and a head and shoulders. It's an inverted head and shoulders and a head and shoulders. I will break it down real quick what be happening with it. And then I have my what? I have my rising. I have my rising and falling wedge, right? And then I have my double top or bottom, right? And then I have my double and top bottom. So how many do we have right here? We're having one continuation. Continuation patterns which I use, it's mainly a what? A bullish and a bearish flag pattern. On my reversal patterns, I have an inverted head and shoulders and a head and shoulders. I have my rising and my falling wedge. I have my double top and my what? And my double bottom, right? So now, how do I trade or how do I spot a what? A bullish flag. I just want to break down people. I won't go to the charts. I just want to show y'all how it works and how to find or how to spot continuation or reversal patterns or how to spot signals. So if price is clearly in an uptrend, and then we have price starting to do what? Starting to give us some sort of what correction right there. And then we have price giving us another momentum continuing to the upside, right? So with this, you can clearly see that like price created something like this, right? So this is a bullish flag. This is how you see a bullish flag, right? But where do you take an entry on a bullish flag? Once price breaks the highs. So now with price pushing to the upside, creating a high, and price starting to correct, moving to the downside or kind of like correcting, and then price gives us a momentum candle with now price closing above our previous higher high. Just note that like the possibility of price continuing to the upside, it's mainly or it's probably 100% because now price pushed, printed a high, corrected, and then continued pushing to the upside, closing above our highs, anticipating that like the bullish sentiment, it's still in charge of the charts and price continues to the downside, to the upside. So this is my bullish flag. So how do I spot my bear flag? Price pushes to the downside and price starts doing what? Price starts correcting or price starts exhausting. And then price does what? Price continues moving to the downside. So now, how do you spot it? It's once price does this, it's once you find now price creating something like this, right? Creating something like this, they say like with a bullish flag, it's like this, with a bear flag, it's like this. So once price pushes to the downside, printing out a lower low, and price starts correcting right there, and then we have a continuation of price closing above our previous lower low. Just know that like the possibility of price continuing to the downside is probably 100% because price printed out a lower low and price closed above and price closed below our lower low, confirming that price will continue to the downside. So this is how I spot a bullish flag. This is how I spot a bear flag. How do I take a trade? It's once price closes above our flag pattern, right? It's once price closes above our higher high or our lower low. I will anticipate what? A continuation to the downside or to the upside, right? So how do I spot my head and shoulders? So we're having what? Price moving like this, right? With a higher high and a higher low, and price printed out a higher high, and then price impulsively moving to the downside, right? Coming back to our previous high. And then price does what? Continues to the upside, failing to continue with the momentum. And then price does what? Price moves to the downside. So when you look at this, you can tell that like price created a left shoulder. We created a left shoulder, right? And then price pushed, right? And then price continued. We created a what? A left shoulder. And then price did what? Push to the upside. Created a head. Now, once price prints out that all-time high, and then price impulsively pushes to the downside. Boom. And then try to continue with the bullish momentum, but unfortunately failing to break. And then price doing what? Price moving to the downside. So you can tell that like we have a left shoulder, we have a right shoulder, we have a head. So how do I spot an entry, or how do you take entries in a what? In a head and shoulders pattern, right? So once price prints out a lower low, once price prints out a higher low and continues to the upside, coming back again to that higher low and then going to the upside, failing to continue with the momentum, and then price does what? Closes above this previous what? This higher lows right there, the two higher lows or the double bottom, or price creating some sort of intraday support zone. Just know that like once price closes below this zone, there's a possibility that like price will continue moving what? To the downside, right? Same thing with a what? Same thing with our inverted head and shoulders. So once price pushes to the downside, right, creating a lower low, and then price continues to the upside, right, and then price does what? Okay, let me start off again. I think I made a mistake right there. I made a mistake. My bad. So now once price pushes to the downside, right, creating that lower low with a lower high, and then impulsively moving to the downside, giving us a lower low, and then price impulsively pushing to the upside, and then not having the momentum, right, to continue moving to the downside with the sentiment. And then price does what? Price moves to the upside. So when you look at this, you can tell that like price printed a left shoulder and then created a head, our head, and then price moved to the upside, created our right shoulder, and then price did what? Moved to the upside, right? Same thing with the uptrend, same thing with the head and shoulders, but now this is different, right? Because you're having a what? A inverted head and shoulders, and we're having a head and shoulders. It's just the same thing, but in a different way, right? So how do I spot an entry once price trades above this very zone, this very same zone right there? Once price trades above right there, I anticipate what? A continuation to the upside. Once price trades above below this zone, I anticipate a stronger reversal to the downside, right? So this is a inverse head and shoulders. This is a head and shoulders. This is a head and shoulders, and this is a inverted head and shoulders. It's the opposite of a head and shoulders, but it's the same thing. And then we have our rising wedge and our falling wedge. So with a rising wedge, price does what? Price pushes to the upside and then corrects like this, right? With a correction which is like this, and then price does what? Impulsively drops to the downside. So now with something like this, you must know that like once price prints out, once price creates some sort of a bullish channel, and then price breaks out of our bullish channel, always remember that like the higher lows that we're creating, the smaller higher lows that we are busy creating, always remember that like once price trades below once price trades below the higher lows, just know there's a possibility that like price will do what? Reverse to the downside, right? So this is my inverted head and shoulders. Let me just draw it. Let me make it perfect so you guys can see what I'm trying to talk about. Something like this, right? So this is my what? This is my rising wedge. And how do I spot a falling wedge? With price now dropping to the downside, right? And then price now starts doing what? Start creating that trend, that low trend, and then price does what? Price reverses to the upside. So now with this, you must remember that like price will print out a bear flag. Price will print out a bear flag, but the bear flag wouldn't be something that will print out a bear channel, I mean, but the bear channel wouldn't be something that is picture perfect, because these are just examples, right? I'm just showing you something. And then with now price creating something like this, always remember that the lower lows that we are busy creating, once price trades above the lower lows, the lower highs that price has been creating, always remember there's a possibility that like price will do what? Eventually continue moving to the upside, reversing to the upside, right? Let me make it beautiful so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And then price starts correcting like this, like this, like this. Always remember that what's coming is price moving to the upside. So this is how you spot a what? This is how you spot a rising wedge, and this is how you spot a what? A falling wedge. So the last one, we're having a what? We're having a double top, and we're having a what? A double bottom. Let me try and do this so I can have space for my low shades right there. Let me try and make space. Let me try and make space. Let me try and make space. Right? So now We're having a double bottom, we're having a double top. So price does what? Price pushes to the upside, creating a higher high. And then price pushes to the downside, creating that higher low. And then price continues to the upside, failing to break our higher high. And then price does what? Price reverses to the downside, right? So now with this, we're having a higher high, right? We're having a higher high and a higher low, and we're having another higher high, confirming price failing to break the previous higher high, giving us some sort of a what? That bullish depletion and that bearish momentum. So how do I spot and how do I take trades in a what? In a double top and in a double bottom? Let me show y'all people real quick. Let me show y'all real quick before I end this. So with price pushing to the upside, higher high, higher low, higher high. Once price pushes to the downside and closes below my previous higher low, I will simply wait for a retest of that zone, anticipation of a reversal to the downside. So when you look at this, you can tell that like price had what? Price had a double top, and then price had a double top, and then price closed below our higher low with a retest reversing to the downside, right? So this is how I spot my what? This is how I spot a double top, or this is how I take an entry in a double top, right? So how do you cleanly see a double top? It's simply like something like this. It's more like an M, right? With a double bottom, how do I spot a double bottom, right? With price pushing, creating a lower low and a lower high and a lower low, failing to break the previous lower low, giving me some sort of support zone, some support, some sort of depletion, and then we see price moving moving to the upside. So how do I take an entry, or how do I spot this double bottom, right? Price pushing to the downside, price printed that higher low, price printed that lower low, and price coming back to the lower low, right? And then price doing what? Closing above my previous lower low, my previous lower high, coming back for a retest. I'll simply anticipate a reversal to the upside, right? So you see price closed above that zone, and price created some sort of support, or price created some sort of double bottom with a fail to break of that bear momentum and the bullish and of that bear depletion and bullish momentum reversing to the upside. You follow me, people? So this is how I spot a what? This is how I spot a double top, right? A double bottom and a double top. So a double bottom, it's more like a what? It's more like a W, people. You follow me? So this is how I spot a double top, and this is how I spot a double bottom. So these are my favorite continuation patterns, right? A bullish flag and a bear flag. I simply take trades above the highs which price created, or once price breaks out of the bullish channel, once price breaks out of that channel or the break wall and comes back for a retest of the previous highs, anticipate a continuation to the upside. Same thing with our bear flag. Once price prints out the lows and creates that flag and closes below the lows, I simply anticipate what a continuation to the downside. Inverted head and shoulders, once price with a head and shoulders, I simply take trades below my what? Below my leg 9, confirming that like from an uptrend, we're looking for a downtrend. Inverted head and shoulders, once price moving to the downside, closing above my neckline, right? Or the two lows right there, or the two necklines, or the two shoulders right there. The only thing I'm looking for is for price to come back for a retest in anticipation of a what? Of a reversal to the upside, right? My rising wedge, when price pushes to the upside and creates that bullish channel, which is slowly becoming smaller and smaller and smaller within the candlesticks. All I'm simply waiting for is for price to break the channel and price to break the lows, anticipation of a what? A reversal to the downside. With a falling wedge, with price pushing to the downside, creating that bear channel, right? Which gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller within the patterns, within the candlesticks. I mean, the only thing I wait for is for price to break for price to break the channel and for price to break the lows, anticipation of a reversal to the upside. A double top, once price creates a high and a higher low and a high which fails to break the previous higher high, I simply wait for price to break the neckline of the high. I simply wait for price to close below the higher low, anticipation of a reversal to the downside. Same thing with the downtrend, same thing with the double bottom. Price creating a lower low and a lower high and a lower low. The only thing I wait for is for price to close above my previous my previous lower low, my previous lower high, anticipation of of price reversing to the upside, people. So those are my all-time pairs. Those are my all-time trading patterns, people. I can't trade I can't do a thing without those patterns. There are many trading patterns out there. You can check them out. You can Google them. You can go on the internet and look for them. There are a million and tons and tons and tons. And people even created robots and created those AIs which trade patterns, right? It is what it is. I will trade price action because I believe that price action is key in Forex, and that will be it. So people, I guess, and I pray you all will take something out of this video. I did always wanted to share something like this, and I always wanted to put some game in y'all people and show y'all that like Circle of Traders is here to help y'all in either way or regardless of anything. So this is your boy Harlem. That's all I got on this video.